Welcome to the Disney Wedding Podcast. This show is brought to you by Carrie Hayward's Fairy Tale Weddings Guide, the only guidebook and bridal organizer tailored exclusively to Disney's fairy tale weddings at Walt Disney World. I'm Carrie Hayward, and each week I feature Disney wedding updates, money-saving tips, and interviews with wedding vendors and real Disney couples. I also cover honeymoons, anniversaries, and engagements at the Disney parks and resorts. Join me now as the Disney Wedding Podcast celebrates romance at Disney destinations. Today on the Disney Wedding Podcast, I am speaking with Viviana and Miguel Marquez about their ceremony at the Wedding Pavilion, with a reception at the View at the Swan Reserve and a dessert party at Italy Isola in EPCOT. I thought you guys would be interested to hear how they chose these locations and how they planned everything and how it all turned out. So welcome, Viviana and Miguel.
Hi, Carrie.
Hello. Hey, Miss Carrie.
We're super excited to be on your podcast.
I'm so glad. I'm glad to have you on the show today. I always like to start at the very beginning and find out how you two decided that you wanted to have your wedding at Disney.
We're both Disney lovers. We love Disney. I've been going since I was a kid. I fell in love with it like in 1987 when my parents first took us, me and the family. And then I introduced her to Disney later on, and we've both been loving it. So when it was time, we kind of looked around and did some comparisons and just kind of realized that there was no other choice for us but a Disney wedding at one point.
Yeah, we wanted something that we both really wanted, and we have a very large family, and it was really difficult to stray away from doing a ceremony, the whole wedding, at home. But we chose Disney because we've both been going together for several years.
So then how did your friends and family react when they found out where the wedding was going to be?
They were excited. I got a few, obviously it's going to be at Disney. But overall, they were excited.
I did have a few like, really? That far away? Like, couldn't you guys get married, somewhere closer? But for us, Disney just kind of holds a special place in our hearts. And we've had a lot of like birthdays and just kind of like other celebrations out there. That's our special place. So we just knew that was a place we got engaged, and we knew we wanted to do it there.
So then how many guests did you invite, and how many were able to make the trip?
We invited approximately 110, and we had 75 people join us. And that was difficult because from the very start, we made the decision to invite just adults, and we cut out children because we are older in age. So several of our friends and family, they all have kids, and we come from very large families. And so we made that decision that it was going to be adults.
How did you handle that with your guests?
I'm very straightforward. So I told them, like, look, this is something that's very different. We really want to do this. It's going to be a very large expense for us, but we really, really want to do this. And we really would love for you to be there. But we've made the decision to not include children. We only had my daughter, her two closest cousins. One was a flower girl, and the other one was a security for the ring. They were the youngest. The youngest was 11, and that's it.
And we really wanted the people that went out there to enjoy themselves and kind of like cut loose and enjoy, the stuff, the wedding itself, and not have to be stressed out about, watching over the children, or not just, having that stress as well.
Got it. Did you set up a room block for your guests?
We did set up a room block. We actually had one guest want the Polynesian, so I specifically booked the amount of rooms that he wanted for the Polynesian. We were staying in Animal Kingdom Lodge because we're DVC members. So then we added some rooms there. We also added Coronado Springs, the tower, because we stayed there. We loved it. Great accommodations for the price point. And then for the Value Resort, we added All-Star Movies. And we had guests staying in every single one of those.
Mm-hmm.
How did you choose the day of the week and time of day for your event?
We had a little difficulty with that because we wanted a Halloween-themed wedding. We wanted a Christmas wedding. We wanted themed. But my daughter, I shared time with her dad, and we had a lot of difficulty, finding where we were going to have the length of time for the wedding that we wanted to be out there, which was going to be about a week. So we finally settled on the month of June. And then he comes up and tells me, girl, there's Stitch Day. It's 626.
626, yeah.
So we decided on 626 on a Wednesday. It was middle of the week.
Yeah, it was a Wednesday, totally random. But it was in the summer. Again, not like the best time usually for Florida weddings, but we're from Texas. The heat didn't really bother us. And we got some really good weather. It wasn't like overbearing heat or anything. So it just kind of worked out. 66, easy to remember for both of us because sometimes we were bad with dates at times. So it just kind of worked out. Yeah.
How did you choose the time of day for your event?
When we went to go see the view, it was gorgeous. We loved the view from the view. We went up to that top floor, and you could see Hollywood Studios. You could see all the parks from different corners of the venue, and we loved it during the day. But several people that we had seen, well, not several, because it was really hard to find pictures and videos on the Swan Reserve, the view. It was hard for me to find information on it. But I did see the photo that they had, and it was a nighttime photo. And when we went up there again to see it at night, we didn't appreciate it as much as we did during the day. And I wanted a dessert party as well. I considered, I know with the view, you can see the fireworks at night, but I still really wanted that dessert party. I didn't really appreciate the view at night, but during the day, man, that view was just amazing. And we had so many guests actually just love it. They were taking several pictures, and they just couldn't believe their eyes when they were up there. Another
factor, too, was that we were trying to not take up too much time from the people that were going out there because we know that they planned a vacation to kind of be out there as well. So we kind of wanted like one day. We asked them for one day where we did the ceremony, the reception, and the dessert party, everything in the same day. So we had to kind of do it a little bit earlier as well. We couldn't do like a traditional evening wedding just to kind of fit everything in there.
I see. Okay. So then how did you guys decide to combine a Disney wedding ceremony at the Wedding Pavilion with a reception at the view at the Swan Reserve?
So originally when I was talking to Disney, I wanted to get married in front of the castle. I had seen one of your podcasts. I was listening to one of your podcasts, and I saw the pictures. I can't remember the bride's name, but I saw the pictures, and it was just amazing. It was gorgeous. I had emailed Disney, and the price point for that was completely out of budget. It was crazy, and there was just no way I could have it. So I told my husband, okay, can't do that. It's too expensive. Where do you want to get married? What do you want to do?
So I got some heat for that one because she was like, hey, why didn't you propose 5 years ago when it was cheaper? so yeah, a little bit of that. But yeah, we were just kind of like looking. They gave us a couple of options, right, for the reception.
I had asked him where he wanted to get married, and he said, you know what? I really like Hollywood Studios.
Yeah, for me, it was Hollywood.
Tower of Terror.
I saw some pictures on your website of somebody that got married outside the Tower of Terror, and it was perfect. I love that vibe. But she asked, I remember we sent an email, and she was asking, and they told us that we had to have a party of, was it 500 or something?
400 guests.
400 guests is what we got told.
I had seen that you had another podcast.
A bride.
Another bride that also had Honeycomb Films, and I messaged that bride, hey, how many guests did you have? And I can't remember the number now, but it was well below 400. And so I emailed Disney again, please, I really want to get married in front of Tower of Terror. How can I make this happen? My guest list is probably around 100. And I can't even remember the event minimum they had given me for that, for the 400. But it was still completely out of budget. I was not going to invite 400 people. So gave up on that one too. And then my backup one was the Wedding Pavilion. It wasn't because we really wanted to be in the park. But man, we went to one of the open houses. Before I went to the open house, I had shown him some pictures. He had seen it. He wasn't too thrilled about it. He's like, it looks nice. It's pretty. It's nice. We walk in there, and he cried.
It was dusty that day. It was particularly dusty before we went in. I just want to set the record straight. But no, it's beautiful. It is a beautiful place. We had seen YouTube videos, and it doesn't do it justice. If anyone's thinking about it, go look at it. It's beautiful. The lighting, the colors. Once you're there, it's hard to capture that on videos. It's a great spot.
So then were you originally going to have your reception through Disney, like at the Grand Floridian Convention Center or something, and then you decided to switch to the View?
Yes. So then after we got to the Wedding Pavilion, I asked, what are my options for this day? What is there available? Ballroom. It's going to be hot. I need to be indoors. If it's going to be during the day, I need to be indoors. What are my options? They gave me 2 options only. 2 ballrooms out of everywhere that they had. And I went on that same trip. We looked at the 2 ballrooms, and neither one of them really, they weren't for me. So then I saw it was your podcast, one of the weddings, The View. So we went to go check it out. We made an appointment. We met with the catering sales manager, Christy Peterson, and she was fabulous. She toured it with us, and we just absolutely fell in love with it. And we had actually already signed a contract with Disney that we were going to have the ceremony, the reception. So before I could sign that contract with The View, I had to call Disney and see what I could do. And my only option was to still have a reception, but we've turned it into a welcome party, which actually worked out fabulously. So we ended up at The View. We walked in and it was just gorgeous.
Okay, that's interesting. Did you use any outside vendors for the portions of your event that you were able to?
Yes. We had that first moment, Claire and Rob, we had seen them on Disney Fairy Tale Weddings. Well, we didn't see them on it, but I had researched who some of the photographers were, and I saw one of them. They were mentioned there, and I emailed them just to see what their pricing was. We researched their work, and it was just so beautiful and vivid. It really captured a lot of detail, and we really, really loved it. That was the one that we could agree on. So that was one of the first ones that I had booked for photo. For video, we had Honeycomb Films, Caitlin and Matt Pike. They were really great to work with. They really captured, once we got our feature film, they really captured what we really wanted for our video, our story. So for content creator, we had Cassie Caldwell. From A Beautiful Ceremony, we had Reverend Knox. He was great. He communicated very well with us. He ran through the whole ceremony with us right before our welcome party the day before. And then the day of, he was very calming when we were there.
Yeah, very calming, very professional. He's a great presence.
I really liked the options that he had for his ceremonies. You could really create the ceremony that you wanted. And he just provides this information and for you in an email, and you kind of build your ceremony that you want, and then you have this meeting with him. So I really wanted to get married in a church, but next best thing, Reverend Knox was there, and we made it into a slightly religious ceremony, which was really important for me. We also had Jennifer Lauren for the invitations. We had fast passes printed with our wedding information, and they were very affordable. So that was really nice. They were really cute and affordable, because that's what I needed, because the event minimums were on the high side. We had a linen and flowers design by Mary Lou. She was absolutely wonderful to work with. I just Googled wedding decor for Orlando, and I found her, and I had a meeting with her, and we did everything by email and by phone, and I was just amazed at what she created just by email and phone. I just couldn't believe it. And then we had DJ.
DJ Vitor Andrade. He was great. Same thing, you got on one of those forums, because we were Hispanic, and we wanted somebody with Latin music, and that could provide a little bit of everything. Her family likes country. My family likes the Latin music, and he got mentioned a lot on those Facebook forums, the Disney wedding and all that stuff. And he was great. He also provided the photo booth. So he had some great options, the music, the photo booth. He was awesome. I'd recommend him too.
And the photo booth was really great because they had the printouts with our name, our date, the wedding date. And so everybody got to take those home, with them. So that was, for me, that was our party favors. They had to take those home. And they had so much fun with them.
That's a great idea.
We also used 2 additional coordinators, Catherine Martell for the ceremony, and we also used Just Mary for the reception at the View. Just Mary, they were really great. They kept everything flowing really smoothly with the DJ. Everybody coordinated really well, so they kept everything great at the reception on timeline, which I was really nervous about because the timeline just felt like it was short, but they kept everything smooth. And then Catherine, she was there to help me at the ceremony, to pass out the bubbles and to keep everybody in line with Disney. And she did great. She helped me with my dress in the fitting room. So they definitely rocked it. They were both great.
Did you guys add any other kind of entertainment to the ceremony or the reception?
For the ceremony, we didn't. For the reception, we had Mickey and Minnie. We were limited on the characters we could have. I actually inquired about Lumiere, but we couldn't get them there. But we were able to get Minnie and Mickey. So we did get them in 2 sets, which was really nice. They came out when we were doing the cake cutting, and I was so happy when I saw them. I actually forgot. You're just going through the day and enjoying every moment. And then they came out, and I was just starstruck.
And people just lost it too. Like, we had a lot of adults and older adults, and man, they turned into little kids when Mickey and Minnie showed up. It was awesome.
They had so much fun with them. We took immediate family photos first, and then they took their break, and then they came back for a second set, and Disney brought a little side drops for the photos, so family got to take. We had another set of time for the photos, and then we set time aside for dancing with the guests. And oh my gosh, everyone was so happy dancing with Mickey and Minnie, especially my stepmom. Oh, I just kept seeing her all over Mickey.
Just chasing him around.
Yeah. They loved it. It was just amazing to see their faces, how our guests were like kids again. They were so happy. So those characters, they were so worth it. And having 2 sets, I really thought it was going to be a big price difference on the 2 sets. It actually wasn't too much of a price difference. It wasn't even doubled in price. So it was definitely worth having the 2 time frames for Mickey and Minnie.
That's great. Did you choose specific outfits for them?
We did. I really wanted, they had a Hollywood attire originally, but couldn't get that one. So we ended up with a gold attire. So Mickey was in his black tux with his gold bow, his top hat. I loved it. I wanted formal Hollywood vibes going on. And then Minnie with her gold dress. They just looked amazing. They looked awesome.
Do you guys have any menu items or cake flavors from the reception that you would recommend?
From the reception, yes. We had a traditional chicken piccata. That was really good. And we had slow-cooked butler steak on the menu also. And the guests loved it. Loved it. And truffled barley risotto. So at the View, it was really different because they gave you a list of items for your cocktail hour, for the main menu, for your desserts. They gave you an entire list that you could choose from, which I really needed. I needed that. And they actually provided a private food tasting for us, which was amazing.
Yeah,
we loved it.
It felt really personalized, that one-on-one time with them and kind of, just showing up and them kind of whining and dining you a little bit. Just show us all the food samples and everything they had to offer. It was really nice.
They didn't show us everything they had. So they gave us the list, and then we went through each category, and we chose what foods we wanted. So we had several options, and then we got to choose them. And then we narrowed it down to those 2 that we had said. And then for desserts, I really loved the raspberry tiramisu. It was so different, and it was really, really good. And the chocolate crunch domes that they had, those were another item that was really good. We also had these, they were...
The lollipops, the beef lollipops. Yeah, those were a hit. We had those out for cocktail hour, and people just love those too. They kept talking about them. They still talk about them even now. They ask us for those.
Yeah, so we had for the cocktail hour, we had a charcuterie board. We had the
beef lollipops.
Can't remember what else we had, but we had they provided a lot of food options, which was really, really great. The guests just absolutely loved them.
And for cake, it was citrus.
Florida citrus cake with a French buttercream frosting. It was delicious. We loved it.
Now, can you tell my listeners about the dessert party you added that night?
So the dessert party, I had been eyeing Italy Isola. I had been eyeing it. I saw it on your podcast with the photos, and I just wanted it. But it had a 100% minimum, and I didn't have that. So I asked Disney if I could still get it, and as we got a little closer, they finally approved it. So it was a great view. The guests absolutely loved it. We still get today how they were just so amazed about the quiet area that they were able to enjoy the fireworks at, because everybody there had never seen the fireworks show. No one. Yeah. And not a lot of our family goes to Disney. So it was really, really special for them. And we actually had rain expected that night, and it did sprinkle a little bit. So they ended up moving us inside to the America Rotunda, which was, for me, it was great. It was great because it was hot. It was muggy. So we had the inside aircon, all the food inside. And then after everybody was done eating, we went outside for the fireworks, and it was great. We had a wonderful view from there. We got the pictures that I wanted on that bridge with the background and the fireworks. It was an amazing view, and everybody loved it.
Did you do a ride mix-in?
We did. We actually took everybody to Ratatouille. So we kept it a secret the entire day till the moment we actually got up to Ratatouille. We walked them from Italy Isola. We walked them over there, and then we announced it. And just like little kids again, they were clapping and cheering because they were just so excited that they were going to be getting on the ride, because some had already been there the day before, but they couldn't ride it. And so I think mostly everybody there hadn't ridden the ride, so they were just so excited and just clapping and happy.
It just re-energized everybody, because this was like at almost midnight, right? It was like super late, or 10 or 11, whatever it was at night. And everybody just kind of was re-energized and excited again just for that. It was fun.
That's awesome. Can you tell my listeners about your welcome party at Citricos?
Citricos was great. I actually didn't even add any centerpieces. I didn't add any decor to it. It was just comfortable as is. It was beautiful as is. And it was great. We did provide an open bar for our guests because we really wanted them to enjoy themselves. We did have a violinist, and she was wonderful. Guests were still talking about how amazing she was, and they were requesting songs. I think Jurassic Park, some Halloween music, and she was just playing it. She didn't need a book or anything to review, and she just kept going. She was just absolutely amazing. Beautiful music she was playing, so they loved it. And it was just really good because people were mingling, talking. Not everybody knew each other, but mostly everybody knew each other. But it was that time to get together before our actual day, and they had a really, really good time. We had braised beef short ribs there. We had grilled lamb chops from the Food and Wine Festival from the Australia booth, because I absolutely love those. We had that. We had Opana bread pudding and Trail Ends mac and cheese.
Nice. Okay. So can you give my listeners a timeline of how the wedding day all fit together?
I woke up at 1 a.m. for hair and makeup. My daughter woke up like around 3 for hair and makeup. We had Stacey Otto in the morning. She was really, really great. After hair and makeup, we had our ceremony at the Wedding Pavilion, and we actually went to the Grand Floridian to take pictures beforehand on the staircase, and then we actually got to ride in Cinderella's coach. I went with my daughter in the coach, and I was so nervous about getting that because I thought, okay, this is June, it's going to be hot. We got in there, and I was perfectly fine. I don't know, it's coming from Texas in the heat, but I loved it. I absolutely loved seeing the horses, taking the pictures in there. It was a really good memory and experience to have with my daughter prior to the ceremony. So then we had Cinderella's coach take us over to the wedding pavilion. We shot some more pictures with the Cinderella's carriage, and then we walked in, and then we had our ceremony at 9:30. Once we were done with the ceremony, we took more pictures outside in the backside, the picture point. And it was funny because the photographer and the videographer were like, the one time there's a boat right behind it. So they really had to capture different angles to avoid the boat coming out in the pictures. Somebody decided to park right behind picture point to fish.
I wonder if it's a good spot.
Oh my goodness. And I was like, man of all days and time of day, right behind it. So they really had to get a little creative with the angles, but they did it. They came out really great. While we were taking pictures, our guests were transported by motor coach to the view. The immediate family stayed back, so we went back inside into the wedding pavilion, and we took family photos. And then after that, our immediate family was picked up by motor coach, and then we took my husband and I took pictures with Cinderella's coach and the horses, and then they took us on a ride around into the Grand Floridian ballroom entrance, where we waited for the motor coach to take us to the view. We didn't get to actually join during cocktail hour because that was one thing that made a little mistake on. I didn't account for the time the motor coach was going to be able to drop everybody off and come back, so we had to wait a bit. But the staff at the view was really, really great and very accommodating. So when we got there, they had a private room for us. They had an assortment of everything that we had picked out for cocktail hour. They had our own private cocktail hour. That way they made sure that we ate. They also helped me. My dress was kind of falling, so they helped me with my dress. I couldn't bend over to change my own shoes because my dress was poofy. So they took my shoes off. They changed my shoes for me. I mean, they were just so wonderful. After that, we went upstairs to the view to see the reception area. They escorted us to one of the side doors while the guests were enjoying the outside patio area. After our mini cocktail hour that they provided for us, they took us upstairs to the view and they showed us the reception area, and it was great. It was great to walk in there and see what had been accomplished by email and phone. I couldn't believe it. It was gorgeous. It was beautiful. The sunlight during the day. I'm so used to going to weddings where everything's at night and dark. And before we had thought, okay, maybe a Halloween dark themed wedding, but walking in there with that beautiful light, the huge windows, it was just gorgeous. After we walked, they took us back out through the side door and kind of blocked us off so nobody could really see us. At the same time, they let the guests in through the other door so everybody could find their seats. And then they properly announced us with our cut music that we had provided. And that was grand. That was really, really nice. We walked in. We did our first dance. I did a first dance with my dad, the father-daughter dance. And then my husband did his dance with his mom. And then after that, I started a dance with my daughter. And then halfway through that song, we switched where my husband came up and he danced with my daughter as well. We really wanted her to feel included and not feel isolated that, we're getting married, but we wanted her to feel like this is a new family unit and together rather than her feeling isolated and separated. So she really enjoyed that. She was all tears. And then after that, we had a reception. We went through our reception during the day. I was really nervous because it was day, but it was great. People loved it. They were energized. They had so much energy. And we provided glasses for them. And people were wearing them, and they were having a blast. After the reception, everybody went back to their hotels, and they had about a 2.5 hour break. At the end of that 2.5 hour break, they were picked up by motor coach and taken to our evening surprise, which was the dessert party at EPCOT. We got taken through the back of EPCOT, which was really different, and everybody was like, "Where are you taking us?" Because nobody knew. We got escorted to the back to America Rotunda. So we went, we had our dessert party, had the dessert, took lots more photos, and then they took us out to the Italy Isola area where we took more photos with the fireworks. It was so much fun being out there on the bridge and taking those photos. And then after that, as soon as it was done, I had to go to the bathroom to take off my petticoat because I had a ball gown. So Disney wasn't going to let me get on the ride with the ball gown. So as long as I took out the petticoat, perfectly fine. I fit on the ride. So right after the dessert party and took off the petticoat, we went straight to the ride. And then after that, we got picked up by motor coach, and then everybody was taken back to their hotels, their Disney hotels.
And it was over just like that.
Okay, so for each of you, what ended up being your favorite memory of your wedding day?
To me, I really enjoyed just seeing everybody have a good time. I think seeing, like Vivi mentioned, seeing it kind of come to life, because up until that point, everything was emails, everything was just kind of like communicating over the phone. But when we showed up and you saw everything kind of come to life, and then everybody was there enjoying themselves, we asked a lot for people to come and join us in Florida. And we really felt a sense of responsibility to kind of show them a good time. And it came to fruition. It happened. And just kind of capturing that and seeing everything and seeing Vivi in her wedding dress and just kind of every it's a little bit of everything. It was just a long day. It went by super fast. So it was one of the best days of my life. Yeah.
For me, I really enjoyed doing the first look. I was really, really scared about doing the first look because that's not traditional for us. And actually doing the first look was great. We got to have that private moment because I remember walking down the aisle, getting there, and I felt like everything was just it was going and going. And I was just so nervous. But having that first look really gave me the opportunity to take it in what was about to happen, take in, how I looked, our emotions, being able to take pictures, having like a private little dance outside Animal Kingdom Lodge. So the first look was great. And then we were actually able to go up to the bridge. We wrote letters to each other. So it was there that we were able to have another moment after taking more photos and reading those letters to each other. So that was really sweet. And then walking down the aisle was amazing, keeping those doors closed, and they're just, playing that music, and then they just open them and you just see everything, and it's just like, wow. And my last thing that I would say was just great was our last song of the night with our family was from Wreck-It Ralph, If I Can See You Again. So that was playing, and then we had this group hug. They got some really nice photos of that, but all of our guests, it was like this giant group hug. Everybody was just so happy, and you could feel it and see it. Like it was very memorable.
That's wonderful. So when you guys were planning, what were some of the most important aspects of the event where you focused your attention or your budget?
For me, from the get-go, it was the open bar. I told her from the beginning, hey, we need to, again, we're asking these people to come this way. Like, we want them to have a good time. Our family drinks and food's a really, really big thing, part of our culture. So it was the food and then offering them the ability to have a good time with alcohol if they needed it or wanted it, and providing them that.
What I really wanted was during the reception was the look of the tables and where I was going to have the wedding. Where were we going to make memories at? And so that's, the view. I know because it's a little pricier. They have this package and it was a little pricier than if I had done it at Disney in one of their ballrooms. But it was really well worth it. The customer service was just amazing. The other thing, the food. the food was very, very important to us. We're both foodies. So we were very particular of the food. We did go to the tasting for Disney, the food tasting, and it was we went through everything, but it was really hard to pick and tell them what we wanted on the entire menu because we hadn't tasted everything. We didn't have these options to choose from, so that was really hard to choose. So food was a major thing, and so we were really happy at the view and the menu options that they provided us to choose from. So yeah. Oh, and the other thing that that was really important to me was riding in Cinderella's carriage. I know there's so much brides are like, no, it's not worth it. Yes, it's worth it. For me, I was like, I'm going to get it. I want it. That's what I want. I will give up something else, but don't make me give up the carriage. And it was worth it for me. Riding in there with my daughter and then with my husband at the end, it was just like, it was like a fairy tale. And I loved it and I didn't care. It was June. I made it. My makeup made it. Stacy did a great job with my makeup. It stayed on. I didn't sweat. It was great.
That's awesome. Were there any aspects that were less important where you saved your money or just your effort?
For me, it was going to be floral. So at the Wedding Pavilion, man, that place is beautiful the way it is. I didn't add any floral to it. I added nothing. The only thing I took from the floral department was the cake serving set. That's it. So, and even now I have guests, I've told them, I didn't even put any floral. I didn't put any decor in there. And they were like, really? That place was beautiful. So that was something that I didn't really put too much money into in that part, or at Citricos either, because the colors, it's just so vibrant color and so it's so well lit because of the big windows that you didn't need that. And everybody was having such a wonderful time that they didn't even notice that there wasn't centerpieces or floral at those. So floral was something that it wasn't very important for me for those two places.
Okay. Did anything go wrong or just not turn out like you expected?
I think one thing I probably would have helped was because after we were finished taking photos at Animal Kingdom Lodge, I had booked private transportation. They weren't there when we walked out. And I didn't have my phone on me. My husband didn't have his phone on him. And then when I finally got my phone, I called them, I texted them, I saw them as phone calls. They were complaining that we weren't out there, but I had already told them, like, hey, it's our wedding day. We might not be on the exact timeline. Please don't leave. And they're like, no, it's okay. You have about 30, 45 minutes after we'll wait. Well, I guess we went over that, so they were not very happy. They had left, and I was so nervous that I was like, okay, what am I going to do? Get an Uber? But he had just left, so he turned right back around and came and picked us up. So I wish I had a wedding coordinator that would have taken care of that part and then kept in contact. Other than that, the whole rain situation for the dessert party worked out in our favor, moving us indoors. But other than that, everything, they did amazing. Disney did a wonderful job from every station that we went to, from the ceremony to the dessert party, the transportation. There was different people that I would meet and greet, and they just kept it all together, and it just flowed so wonderfully. At the view, everything flowed wonderfully on our timeline. All the vendors did a great job that were there. So yeah, that was the biggest thing for me. How about you?
I know the transportation was an issue there for a little bit, but I kept telling her, hey, they're not going to start without us. So we're okay. But no, no complaints. I thought it was a good time.
Was there anything that seemed like a big deal beforehand or you were worried about and then it turned out not to be a big deal?
I think it was the heat. The heat that we were going to encounter with Cinderella's carriage and paying so much money to have that short ride. And I was just so afraid that my makeup was going to run, and it was so early in the day. But no, it was fine.
Yeah, no, I feel like once you're there and it's the day of, you just kind of like roll with it and enjoy the day and make the best of it. There's no point in kind of like getting upset and kind of ruining the rest of your day. It was the most magical day ever, and nothing could ruin that for me.
Is there anything you would have done differently knowing what you know now?
I think seeing it now, I was kind of pushing back a little bit on the carriage that she wanted, but seeing it now and just kind of seeing it, I don't think I would have changed that. If anything, we discussed maybe adding more characters at one point. That would have been really fun, or maybe extending the party itself for like another hour. We had that talk for a little bit. Maybe adding the other hour if I'm being picky, but it was still a great day overall.
For me, I think that, that's one thing I probably would have added. I would have added more characters because it was just a huge hit with everybody. Everybody was so happy again, like kids again. And we absolutely enjoyed that so much. The happiness that it brought to everybody's faces, the joy that it brought to us. I mean, I was thrilled when they walked through the door. I almost cried because I was like, here I am. I'm having a Disney wedding and these Mickey and Minnie are walking in. I was like, oh my God. So, adding more characters is something I probably would have changed.
Okay, got it. Do you guys have any other tips or advice for future couples who might be interested in planning a wedding or a vow renewal at Disney or the Swan Reserve?
I would suggest if you haven't looked at the Swan Reserve at the View, if you're planning a wedding out there, go take a look at it. I'm so glad that we did. I'm so glad that we took the shot and the time to go look, and we emailed or reached out to Miss Peterson out there and set that up because, man, it's amazing. It's beautiful. They treat you top notch. Everything was really personalized. They went out of their way to make us feel special from the time that first email to the food tasting. Even after our wedding, they gave us like a room that you're allowed to stay in for the night. And it's like a suite, and you have a view of EPCOT, so you can see the fireworks at night from your room. They gave us champagne and strawberry. It was really, really nice. Everything was super personalized. If you haven't, go take a look at it. Give them a shot.
I think I would tell other brides, definitely take a look at the View. It wasn't even something I even thought of at the very beginning, but they were absolutely great. They made me feel like a princess during our whole reception. They made sure we ate. I would hear brides say, you know what, I really didn't get to eat. I really, they didn't really have that time to do that, but they made sure we ate. They made sure our glasses were filled with our favorite drink that we had requested. They made sure that we had desserts. As everything was changing for our guests, our plates were changing, and then we'd go back and everything was served. They were just wonderful. The whole staff with the View, they treated you just like royalty. And the other thing I would suggest is, I think one thing I would do different also is the wedding coordinator. If I could have had one wedding coordinator from start to finish, I feel that my transportation issue wouldn't have happened because I had different coordinators separate from Disney. One for the ceremony, then for the reception, and then I didn't have one for the dessert party. So having just one streamlined for everything would have been better, I think.
Got it. Okay. Well, Miguel and Viviana, I think you've offered a lot of great tips and advice for anyone who's interested in getting married or having a vow renewal at Walt Disney World or at the View at the Swan Reserve. And I appreciate your taking the time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Carrie. This was awesome to relive our day. We had a blast.
That's our show for today. I'm your host, Carrie Hayward, inviting you to join me again next week for another episode of the Disney Wedding Podcast. Past shows and tons of photos for each episode are available on my website, DisneyWeddingPodcast.com, or listen in your favorite podcast app. And for instant answers to all your Walt Disney World wedding questions, check out Carrie Hayward's Fairy Tale Weddings Guide, available as an interactive ebook with continual free updates at fairytaleweddingsguide.com.